Gervonta Tank Davis continues to prove the haters wrong. Time after time, Gervonta Davis does this, both in the ring and also outside of the ring. Gervonta Davis, I've called him the face of boxing. You look at even guys like Canelo, who's the other face of boxing. He's popular and he's had a good, great run. But the way the public is looking at Canelo right now is a bit different. Canelo's, in my opinion, his fights aren't as like exciting in recent times. Like where he might not get the stoppage depending on who he's fighting or whatever. Versus when you go to a Gervonta Davis show, and I've been to several, you go to a Gervonta Davis show, you can almost expect certain things. And a knockout is one of those things that you can very well kind of look forward to. Or at least you know it's plausible Gervonta Davis could get the knockout. Canelo, you know, Caleb Plant might have been like the last real knockout. Even guys like John Ryder, where the world thought maybe he should get the knockout, he doesn't. So Gervonta Davis continues to prove, you guys see it on the screen, he continues to prove who he is, both in the ring and out of the ring. I want to show you guys on X the latest and greatest. Shout out to Boxing Tickets, but they have this and they basically pull up the data and estimate the various gates and ticket sales, like basically numbers stuff when it comes to boxing. Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin, Saturday, June 15th, 12:15 p.m. Amazon Prime. Location, MGM Grand Garden Arena, Vegas. So the fight's coming up this month. The tickets remaining are 1,123. The face value of those tickets, somewhere under $1 million, 961K. They're estimating the total gate, you know, if they go through the remainder of the tickets, to be about 14.4. And this is since May 30th. Then they included the map, the site map. And you look at the ring and just look at the blank spots. There's not many, like this has a whole row, but every other row is looking gone. Then 2 seats right here scattered randomly, couple seats on the corner. And then when you start getting to stuff like that, it might be the location. People are like not liking that because the ring is over here. So maybe they want to be pushed off right here, right? Until later on and there's like no more seats in their price range, then these will start to fill out too. Because you have to keep in mind, it's the beginning of the month. So it looks like they're gonna be a sellout or close to. So it's looking bad for the haters. A lot of people, they don't want to state the obvious. You have a lot of content creators who happen to be Devin Haney fans, and I call them Haneyacks, and they take the opportunity, every opportunity that they get, they take it to talk about Gervonta Davis. And it never really made sense to me, because here's the thing. If you're so pro Devin Haney, I get it. Devin Haney said at a point in time that he wanted to fight against Tank Davis. But why spend more time making more videos about Gervonta Davis or putting out more content on your platform about Gervonta Davis as opposed to the guy that you're backing? Now, when we're looking at it, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. Gervonta Davis continues to put out and hoist these type of numbers. So it becomes very difficult for even the strictest hater to deny what you're seeing. Tank Davis is about to do another record-breaking gate, and he's doing it with the Frank Martin. And I don't say that in a bashing way, because I actually like Frank Martin as well. But what I'm saying is Frank Martin, let's be real, he's not like a big household name that everybody was talking about. For example, let's put it like this. If Shakur Stevenson, who was at a point in time last year rumored to fight against Frank Martin. If they fought anywhere, including Newark, where Shakur is from, which I don't know if that would happen because of Frank Martin. I don't know if he would want to be on the opposing network, opposing promoter, and give home court advantage to Shakur Stevenson. But hypothetically, you put that fight anywhere, it's not going to do a $14 million estimated gate, period. There's only Canelo and Tank that's really doing these crazy gates like that, like 10 million plus gates frequently or often. Top 3 gates that they're doing every year. So Tank, I've been here for the journey, the start of the journey, and that's how I knew, and I warned you guys on my channel what to expect. People could talk about it. Tank and his team are being about it. They've marketed Tank. Tank has marketed himself. His team has done a good job. And most importantly, he kept winning. Versus you look at the Haniacs, they said that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney was a super big fight. Even Bill Haney says the Tank Davis era is over and the Mayweather era is over. Looking back, these things didn't make sense then, but they definitely don't make sense now because Devin offers career worst performance. As of me recording the video, the loss still remains despite Ryan testing positive for Ostarine. We'll see what is concluded in that investigation. But all I know is Gervonta Davis continues to put out big numbers, big boy numbers, and he's doing it with names like a Frank Martin, who's a great fighter, but there's a lot of great fighters that don't have the biggest blockbuster profile, and it takes an A-side name to fight. Let's say when Tank fought Rolly had like 15, 16 fights. So when Tank is fighting Rolly, only Tank, and I'm saying reasonably speaking, not no fights where guys are in different divisions that Rolly doesn't fight in, but in that weight class, Tank is the only person that could really put up these types of numbers and set Barclay records at the Barclay Center with a Rolly who then was only 15-0, 16-0, something like that. And the crazy thing is, as of me recording the video, I don't even know if Amazon Prime put out shoulder programming for this fight because I don't recall seeing it. And I'm talking about like the, where they show the camp life and how the fighters are training and things like that. I haven't personally even seen that. So at the end of the day, Tank is doing it off his name and a press conference. One press conference is what they've done, and people want to see the fight. So all the haters and the Haniacs who are bashing Tank to uplift and hoist up other fighters or talk up Devin or whatever the case is that made people do what they did, it doesn't make sense. Like I said, Devin Haney's coming off a career worst performance. And then as far as the numbers, it's been over a month. We still don't know what the Haney numbers were with Ryan Garcia. But there's a lot of content creators who stated that Haney Garcia was a big fight, the biggest fight in boxing. They told you that it would be a great big sellout event in the East Coast. But where are the numbers for it then? Because Tank set a record with Rolly, which I can prove in this video. Tank set a record with Rolly for the attendance, and I never heard Golden Boy or DAZN come out and say we surpassed Tank's record with attendance, or we did a bigger live gate than Tank Davis did with Rolly in that venue. But then you had Ryan, who was acting literally insane everywhere, talking crazy, doing all this hype stuff and at times bizarre stuff to promote the fight. And yet and still it didn't seem like, or doesn't seem like, given the fact that they haven't come out with actual numbers, that it actually surpassed Tank versus Rolly. Because again, why would they not advertise it if it did? Why would the Barclays Center not have put out a tweet like, yo, Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia? I'm not saying it wasn't a good fight, because it was a good fight. But I'm saying in terms of the numbers, the metrics, you have content creators that are Haniacs, and they said that Haney versus Garcia was a big fight. And a lot of them even dished on Tank versus Frank Martin as if it wasn't the fight. Even Shakur Stevenson, he's done recent interviews, and Shakur Stevenson said something to the effect of, why is Tank not fighting my leftovers, Edwin De Los Santos? Why is he fighting Frank Martin? He's not elite. So it's not just the Haniacs. You had Shakur Stevenson and probably some of his fans who are also saying this ain't the fight Tank needs and Frank Martin's not elite. But the people are speaking with their pocketbook. So it really don't matter what's being said, because the crowd, they're letting you know what they think about the fight because they're responding with their hard-earned money and their pocketbooks. So it doesn't matter if Shakur says, oh, why is Tank not fighting Edwin De Los Santos? Or if the Devin Haney Haniacs say, oh, that's not a big fight. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney is a much bigger fight. Then how come Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia got moved off of the whole West Coast? Tank Davis didn't get moved off by the UFC or another boxing event, and then the numbers never came out. So if this is really set up for a $14 million gate, that means the tickets are priced in a way that the media, or not the media, but more so the public is responding to. And Frank Martin is not acting like Ryan Garcia. He's not drinking and doing all these gags and going on social media doing X spaces. So truth be told, Ryan Garcia did all that to do worse numbers with Devin Haney. And you have people like Oscar De La Hoya, who frequently hates on PBC, and he himself stated that he believed Haney versus Garcia fight would be a top 10 best ever fight in boxing, which I told you was cap. And there was no follow through. There was no follow up with the numbers. We never heard anything about numbers. So I think it's pretty safe to say over a month later that it probably didn't achieve to expectations. A lot of people thought Ryan Garcia was crazy and wasn't even going to show up, which leads me to my next point. You had a lot of people hating and saying that the only reason Tank versus Ryan Garcia sold was because of Ryan Garcia. That too makes very little sense, because if Ryan Garcia is the sole reason that the fight sold, then how come Tank has a different, because people also put this out. They say, oh, Ryan, he has a Mexican-American fan base and Latinos are the biggest supporters only in boxing. Okay, well, he's not fighting a Latino person. He's not fighting Ryan Garcia, and he's still doing great numbers in Las Vegas with a black fighter who's largely unknown on outside of diehard, everyday radical boxing circles, right? So it just shows you, no matter how much people tried to hate, Tank is he's that guy in the sport of boxing. He has a name who's a great fighter, but he's not a big name, and he's able to produce what it looks like these type of results. And you're looking at the map versus you looked at the Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia map when they were about to fight, and they were like growing tickets. There were sections that were previously grayed out, and then all of a sudden they popped up and they were blue, and they had resale red tickets that were mysteriously popping up. Tank, it looks like they might have to open up new sections. Levels to this, levels. That's why I never front on my channel, because it's not worth it. A lot of content creators lie to you and say that, oh, Gervonta's not that dude. Devin's caught up to him because he beat Regis Prograis, but the lie detector test determined that was a lie. The numbers will always speak, and the fans will let you know and embrace who is the true A side, who is the face of boxing. Devin Haney's team particularly talked about it, but the results are in. Tank's team is showing you that he's that guy in boxing, and by showing you, they don't have to even talk, because they didn't even say anything about this. This is a completely separate page that snooped around and is looking at this. Versus you have other people, they have to tell you that Devin, like Bill Haney, told you that Devin is the new face of boxing. Leonard Ellerbe doesn't have to overly sell it. He's just like, Tank is he's a hot ticket. We're selling well. It's the other people who are speaking the praises of how well the fight is doing. Again, levels. So next time y'all hate on Boxing Ego, just know I'm the best in the business, and it's not even close. I give you guys information that you can take to the bank. Shout out to Gervonta Davis and Frank Martin on all the success they're receiving on their upcoming fight.